A top AEW faction on the verge of breaking up. Also, we are talking about it. WWE superstar has requested the release. Mustafa Ali is not the only one to do so. And a very interesting story is WWE trying to keep WCW trademarks away from AEW. We're going to talk about it all in today's video, but if you guys want more videos like this, go ahead and click that subscribe button. So we're going to talk about WCW Super Brawl and WCW Uncensored. Because WWE, as of January 19th, have actually filed for those two trademarks, Uncensored and Super Brawl. Now, this was done with the United States Patent and Trademark Office, filing for entertainment services, namely a show about professional wrestling entertainment services, namely the production and exhibition of professional wrestling events rendered live and through broadcast media, including television, and distributed via various platforms across multiple forms of transmission media, etc., etc., etc. Now, the reason why I want to talk about this is because, well, WWE obviously has WCW content on Peacock, on the network, and everything like that. So it totally makes sense for WWE to own the trademarks. But also at the same time, there is this narrative, this discussion that is happening on social media that WWE files for certain trademarks to specifically exclude other companies from using it, which is obviously the point of a trademark. But in this case, WWE has been more proactive because of AEW. Now, from a business standpoint, that would make a lot of sense. If you're the WWE, I could totally understand why you're doing that. From a fan perspective, I also want to acknowledge that WWE, if you don't watch it, WWE NXT has used WCW pay-per-view names in the past. We saw it with Halloween Havoc, and we've seen it with another one. I can't remember for some reason off the top of my head. WWE also did a Starrcade house show. So it's not the first time that WWE has used WCW pay-per-view names or anything like that. The real question is, what are WWE's plans here? Are they planning on using Unleashed or Super Brawl for a upcoming NXT pay-per-view? We know that NXT during WrestleMania weekend will be called Stand and Deliver, which is fitting. But is there an opportunity that maybe we will see WWE Uncensored, NXT Uncensored, or NXT Super Brawl? That's the real question. If you're AEW, should you care about this? I personally don't think so. I don't think that really matters. I think AEW should focus on not trying to use WCW names. I think AEW, they got Revolution and Double or Nothing. They got some good names. I don't suggest they change it. I don't suggest they worry about this, and I don't really think they are. But it is very interesting to see what is the reason for this. In other news, Brian Kendrick, former WWE champion, he has requested his release with WWE. PW Insider reports that Brian Kendrick has also asked for his release from the company. Kendrick was brought back a few years ago after a great showing in the Cruiserweight Classic. We all remember that. He was a really big part of 205 Live. He was one of the names brought up to Raw when they tried to reboot the Cruiserweight division, but then he was ultimately slotted back to the 205 Live show. And then eventually, Brian Kendrick was settled into a producer role, which we saw this within NXT. If you watch NXT 2.0, Harland, a.k.a. Parker Boudreaux, he actually threw Kendrick down the stairs, and then it led to a whole bunch of stuff. He hasn't been at the TV tapings in Orlando for weeks, and PW Insider noted that he's been waiting on his release for 6 weeks. So, not really sure why WWE is not releasing people that's asking for the release if they can release a whole bunch of other people. I'm just not sure. I'm not sure why. In my opinion, if you're WWE, I mean, look, here's the thing. Brian Kendrick, the only thing I could really see him doing after this is either going to a coaching role within AEW or Impact, or I could see him doing this veteran thing that seems to be a common trend right now, which is veterans and people that have been in the business for a long time. Well, that word is literally veteran. But my point that I'm making is some veterans have been going to GCW. I can see that for Brian Kendrick. But if I'm WWE, I would just grant the release. I don't know what they're doing, man. I feel like it's weird. You've been releasing so many people, and I know that I get it. WWE is not publicly coming out saying, "Oh, we're cutting these people for budget cuts," right? That's stuff that's been reported and whatnot. And every time we hear breaking news from Sean or Meltzer or something, it's like, "Oh, due to budget cuts." Maybe WWE's internal reason isn't budget cuts. Who knows? Whatever. Maybe it's just a silly little excuse. But if budget cuts are the reason why you're cutting so many people and then you're not cutting Brian Kendrick, it's like, what's the point, dude? What is the point? I don't get it. I'm trying to understand it, but it's difficult, man. It's like, whatever. It's not like Brian Kendrick is freaking Roman Reigns, and I'm not saying that in like a disrespectful way either. I'm just saying, like, let him go coach or wrestle somewhere else. I think Brian Kendrick should go to Impact, though. Final story of the day. I thought this was interesting, but it seems like it's been coming for a while. The Inner Circle. You guys all know the Inner Circle. The Inner Circle, lately, just things haven't been going their way. And on AEW television, they've been actually teasing the disbandment of the faction itself. Now, what's really interesting is Jericho previously mentioned that he wanted to respectfully disband the Inner Circle, but Tony Khan had other plans. Speaking to Stephanie Chase of Digital Spy, Santana and Ortiz commented on a potential split. For me personally, I felt like we had done so much and have proven to be so successful at being the group that it was time for all of us to go our separate ways and start establishing our own selves and whatever we would continue doing and stuff like that. And maybe eventually we could bring it back together for a major moment and rock and roll again. The group is cool, and we've proven that the group can be successful, but now let's prove that each of us could be successful on our own. Almost like the Wu-Tang Clan. They were great together and successful together, and when they all broke up, they all became successful. That was more of my mentality. It's very clear that AEW has been working on this split, so I don't mind AEW doing the split. I think it's like a slow burn. But I do think the Inner Circle's time is up. And I'm saying this in like a good way. Like, Sammy Guevara in the beginning of AEW compared to where he is now, tremendous. Like, this guy has gotten so much better. Then you have Proud and Powerful, which for some reason AEW like stripped their tag team name. They haven't been referred to as Proud and Powerful in a while. But Santana and Ortiz, I said this from the minute they debuted. I said this when they were in Impact. They are the tag team in AEW. They are really good. We got to see that. Jake Hager, I'm afraid, will get lost in the shuffle. And Jericho, I have no idea what they have planned. If I'm AEW, I break up the Inner Circle. I keep Hager as Chris Jericho's bodyguard. That's what I would do. I would let the guys go and run their own careers. I think Sammy Guevara is doing the single stuff, obviously, as interim TNT champion. He's dating Taya Conti. Maybe you can put a storyline together. They could be like the Miz and Maurice. I don't know. They could be the annoying couple that pisses off everybody. I don't know. But I think they will all find individual success. And therefore, I'm cool with it. The Inner Circle was there in the beginning because they needed it. AEW desperately needed something like this. And now they're established. They don't need it anymore. So let these guys shine. We'll see what happens. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.